Pixels is the new Adam Sandler movie directed by Christopher Columbus, who has made Home Alone, Home Alone 2, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and the first two Harry Potter movies. Interesting. What this movie's about is we send up a time capsule back in the 80s filled with us playing video games to send out to space so aliens could find it and maybe learn about us. But when aliens do find it, they take it as an act of war and they start bringing down real-life video games to attack us. And what this is, if you lose 3 battles against them, you lose, but if you win 3 battles against them, then they lose. So it's up to the nerds like Adam Sandler and Josh Gad to basically take them down because they're the only ones who know how to. Now, I had some mixed reactions going into this movie. Number one, the trailers look really cool for this movie, and I like the overall idea and the fact that it's based off a short. But what I was worried about was the Happy Madison element, and if you don't know what that is, Happy Madison is the production company that has made such classic comedies with Adam Sandler and Kevin James and David Spade and... yeah. So I was looking forward to the video game aspect of this movie, and Christopher Columbus is directing it, who actually, in my opinion, hasn't made that bad of a movie. I know Percy Jackson's a bad movie, but that's my guilty pleasure. The first 2 Harry Potters are okay, and the first 2 Home Alone movies are the best Home Alone movies. So going into this movie, I had some hope. Maybe this would be the right track for Adam Sandler to go on. Maybe this was a new direction for him. No, it's not. You know what this is? The trailers fooled you, alright? The trailers made you think this was an all-out Independence Day movie except with video games, and that would have been awesome. But instead we get Adam Sandler's awkward romantic comedy movie. Oh, and a few video game characters. Now, before I get into anything negative about this movie, let me just say, the video game stuff is awesome. I loved it. Whenever they're destroying something, whenever they turn something pixelated, that was awesome. I loved that aspect, and the CGI looked really good for these things, and I like seeing some of the classic people show up because I actually have played some of the arcade games that they bring into this movie. I played Centipede, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. There's actually an arcade like a couple minutes from my house. I even have an Atari thingy that you put your iPad in and you can play classic games. That was awesome for me. So seeing those characters be in this movie and awesome looking and destroying stuff and they turn pixelated, I really liked that. And the premise of the movie too was very, very cool. Basically, you have 3 lives to defeat these people and you start losing them, and that was really cool to me. I really liked that aspect. So there's half of this movie that I really liked, the video game stuff and the cool plot, and I actually did like a couple characters, one of them being Peter Dinklage, who just had the best one-liners out of all the humans in the whole movie. The other character I liked was Q*bert, the pixelated guy from the game Q*bert. And even though he has this really weird voice, I kind of got used to it later on. He was a kind of a funny character, but it's kind of obvious he was just thrown in just to be the comedic relief sidekick character. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all I really enjoyed from this movie, because everything else really was not that good. Got Adam Sandler playing Adam Sandler again. You know every single Adam Sandler movie where he's not acting like a goofball and he's the straight guy? Yeah, it's that character again. He's struggling with love again, and he's a nerd. So, yeah. Basically the same thing Adam Sandler could do anytime at all, and he's probably just doing this movie just to make a paycheck because it seems like he could do this role in his sleep by now. Josh Gad, oh my god. You went from playing Olaf, one of the best Disney sidekick characters ever in Frozen, to this. Whoa. Wow. He was terrible. Like, he started out like, okay, maybe he can work, but he just started spitting out these annoying jokes that just did not work at all. It didn't catch on. I do not want to remember this character ever, because whenever I hear him speaking, I want to punch him in the face. Kevin James plays the President of the United States, and he can't read. And he acts like the biggest idiot on the planet, so he's basically Paul Blart except the president now. And Michelle Monaghan's in this movie basically trying to be the love interest to Adam Sandler. No, you're not selling me on this. I know Adam Sandler's really famous and rich and stuff, but there's no way. There's no way he can get these hot girls. In Grown Ups, he's got Salma Hayek. In Jack and Jill, he's got Katie Holmes. And then in this, he's got Michelle Monaghan? No. No. It's impossible, dude. I'm sorry. No, there's no way. You can't sell me on this idea, man. You can't get these hot girls, man. Just, no. Remember how I said Peter Dinklage was the best human character? That's because he had the best jokes of the whole movie. Whenever he told a joke, the majority of them actually worked. But him as a character, how is he as a character? Bland, one-dimensional. He's basically just thrown in because he causes some tension between him and Adam Sandler because he beat him at a Donkey Kong championship. And of course he's thrown in to cause some trouble later. That's pretty much it. He's just a plot device to move the plot along. He has no character. He doesn't really learn anything. Like, he kind of does later on, spoiler alert, but did you not think these characters would learn something? He kind of does, but it's like the most rushed thing ever, and we don't even see him when he's learning that stuff. He just disappears. So really, what's the point of his character? Nothing. And they bring in this girl, I'm sorry, I forget this actress, to play Lady Lisa, the video game character that Josh Gad has been obsessing over ever since he was a child in this movie. And spoiler alert, skip ahead to this time anywhere on the screen to when the spoiler is done, but here goes. Okay, so Josh Gad's been obsessing over Lady Lisa forever, right? So when he's in the middle of this great battle between these video game characters, Lady Lisa shows up and starts beating the crap out of him. But then all of a sudden, Josh Gad expresses his love towards her, and then all of a sudden she just changes sides. She doesn't speak during that time though. She's just like got the sword pointing, and then she just puts him down and they make out. Cool. And then she helps him out too. Alright, that's awesome. Peter Dinklage shows up, and it leads to the coolest part of this movie, the last 10 minutes of action between Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Michelle Monaghan fighting Donkey Kong, and then down on Earth, we have Peter Dinklage, Lady Lisa, and Josh Gad fighting all the stuff that's cornering them. That, and played with the music, We Will Rock You. It just really worked. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen video game-wise. But here's the thing. Spoiler alert, I already said spoiler alert, sorry. Basically, they win, they defeat Donkey Kong, all the video game characters go back, but because of this, Lady Lisa also goes back, so Josh Gad's crying, and no. Here's the thing, Q*bert is staying on Earth because he's a trophy. They won him in a battle, so he's a trophy, he gets to stay. All of a sudden, just out of the blue, because Josh Gad is so upset that Lady Lisa left, Q*bert just magically transforms into Lady Lisa, and Josh Gad makes out with her. How is this happening? They don't explain it, so I don't know. I guess Q*bert can just change himself at any moment? But how does that make sense? How is he a trophy if he can just change into anyone? That's another thing. If it's a trophy, shouldn't it just be a single thing? Why does it have to transform into something else? I'm not sure how that works. And Josh Gad is still turned on by Lady Lisa, even though he just saw Q*bert turn into her. And later on, 1 year later, it's like before the credits roll, they play a scene 1 year later, and they're married, and they have little baby Q*berts hopping in a baby carriage. So, what happened? That doesn't make any sense to me. Spoilers are done, but there's one more minor spoiler that I just have to mention because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm not going to say who does it, but a character enters in a cheat code to win a battle, but they don't explain how he enters the cheat code if it's just real life, you know? It's not a video game. There's no, you can't cheat at it. How do you do this? How did you do it? And I guess that's another thing too. This movie just feels really lazy with these plot holes also. And that's another thing that drags this movie down. So the Happy Madison element definitely was disappointing. Not good at all. I couldn't stand it. But the thing is, I like the video game stuff so much, and that part is throughout the entire movie, and I was entertained throughout the entire movie. The last 10 minutes of action were so cool, and I loved it. We Will Rock You added into the mix. It looked really cool. But then you got the Happy Madison element too. It's like a half and half mixture. I was entertained, but I hated it too. But I don't know. I'm gonna give this movie the middle ground grade. I'm gonna give it a C. I didn't really love this movie, but I was entertained enough to say that if you want to be entertained, you can see it, and I would recommend it to you. But if you don't like Adam Sandler, stay away from it as long as you can, because you will hate it. What did you think of Pixels? Leave in the comments below what you thought of it, and I'm going to be reviewing Smosh, the movie, next. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.